So the third one, top 3, is The Animal Man by Jeff Lemire or Lemire, I don't know, and Travel Foreman. DC Comics.
Yeah. Number 2 is Daredevil with Mark Waid writing and Paulo Rivera and Marcos Martin
I wonder what's
animation from Marvel.
I wonder what's going on with Daredevil now.
I don't know. Well, ever since Kevin Smith left, I don't know what I hadn't.
I do like the character Daredevil, the premise of him, having those powers of his. Okay. All right, so number 1 is Lock and Key by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, IDW. So what's this about?
I wonder how many hopes were dashed and hearts were broken at the SDCC screenings of the Lock and Key pilot.
I didn't see it.
So
I was there, but I didn't see it.
And this was a comic book they were going to try to turn into a series, apparently, by Fox. There we go. The well-regarded network pitch for the well-regarded IDW comic by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez got a pass by Fox, and I've heard nothing since then except that the network is making a huge mistake passing on this teen-centric supernatural mystery. The central premise of the series, a series of mysterious keys can unlock doors in an equally, perhaps more mysterious New England house, and each of those doors can lead to something sublime or nasty. Hill brings a touch of the strange, terrible, and wonderful to his series, and although we've had to console ourselves that it might not be making its way to TV soon, we still have the fantastic comic incarnation. I'm saying take it to the CW. It sounds like a perfect show to line up with them, with the Vampire Diaries, the Secret Circle, the Supernatural. So it looks like they need another one. So I think they need to push this to the CW.
Mm-hmm.
And put a bunch of pretty little hot white boys in it and pretty little white girls, and it'd be all good. So,
right.
So,
but put in some bears too, right? Since this is the Bear Podcast, right? I wish there was some more.
Well, no,
bears.
they don't put bears on.
They don't on CW
shows. No, it's all pretty little white children.
Oh, okay.
So,
you should put more on Walking Dead stuff. That although they do kill the only bear in the show. Right?
Well, that was a buffet.
That was a buffet. Oh yeah, he was a buffet.
He was a buffet.
Anyway, so we're in the topic of comic books, and now what do we have now, Ray?
We are going to do an interview with Sina Grace and talk to him about Little Depressed Boy, since he was at number 4, and Kirkman was at number 10, which is his boss, but we're not going to really say that. But we're going to talk to Sina and ask some questions about and find out a little bit more about Little Depressed Boy.
All right, so here's Sina.
Welcome, everybody. We have joining us today on the show is Mr. Sina Grace, who is coming to us live from Los Angeles, California. Right, Sina?
Live? Yes.
Yes, live.
Well, he's live, but
you're alive.
So he's live. Unlike most of the people he deals with, he's alive. So.
That's right.
So, Sina, welcome to the show. Oh, welcome back to the show.
Welcome
this is
back
like your 3rd or 4th appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been things have changed for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. For all of us. Since
For all
the
of
last
us.
time I was here, we've all grown.
I remember the Cedric book before. Yeah, you did that. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the last time we had you in the show, right?
Yeah. Back then I was doing I had illustrated and drawn a novel about a gay sorcerer sleuth, and now I'm doing something just as normal, and it's a comic book about a sad sack boy called The Little Depressed Boy. So I just can't do anything normal. Don't make me tell a story about like a guy who walks down the street. I can't do it.
It has to be something out of the ordinary.
Well, you can, if you need a shoot off from Little Depressed Boy, you can do Big Depressed Bear. And you can model it
that's
after
right.
me.
Oh, Big Depressed Bear.
Do I have a model? Ray, will you model for me?
Yes,
oh, there you go.
I'll be the perfect model
Ray.
for Big Depressed Bear.
Yeah.
So,
be great.
So
I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Yeah, it'll be an offshoot. We'll introduce him in LDD, and then he'll get his own series because he will be so popular.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Little Depressed Boy wanders into a bear gay bar by mistake.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a spin-off.
And Big Depressed Bear hits on him and gets shot down.
Oh, it works out perfectly. It's like circular or something with just the depression all about. Yeah, that there you go. He thinks that there's going to be an awesome indie band, and he ends up going into a gay leather bar or something. And I'm all for that.
Okay,
definitely. Mm-hmm.
So, Sina, tell us how you got involved with Little Depressed Boy, because you've been doing this off and on. You started doing this off and on at first, didn't you?
Yeah, so to get really far back with things, I have a friend who is actually now the editor of The Little Depressed Boy, Nick, and he introduced me to Struble to do coloring for a book I was doing in college called Books of Pictures. And Struble was telling me about this webcomic he was working on called The Little Depressed Boy, and that different comic book artists would be contributing every week, and it would all be blue. It wouldn't be any other color, and it would also weave poetry. And I was so into it. I thought I'd made like the big leagues. I was like, yeah, being asked to draw a webcomic, I've made it. And he kept inviting me to come back, and then he had a longer story idea with this female character named Jazz, who would become a love interest, and he wanted one artist, and he asked me, and I did a couple pages, and at that point, he tested out doing it in color, and it sort of stuck, and that's the beginning of how people see Little Depressed Boy now, which is in color, 22-page comic book every month from the lovely Image Comics.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember when in the early days when it was all blue, it was very depressing. Very depressing.
It was, and it was. We're actually, here, I'll shameless plug. December 14th, we were collecting all of those blue pages with all of the artists in one book, and it's called. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the title. It's called Volume 0, and it also includes a new story by me and Struble. So it's fun to kind of go back to knowing that it's all going to be shades of blue, and telling the story of his life before the fans kind of really picked up, in comic book stores and whatnot. So it's a really cool book, and it's a trip down memory lane because it has some of my ugliest artwork, and then it has some of my favorite, most recent artwork, and then there's so many great collaborators, and it's a cool book. And December 14th.
Okay, and that'll it'll be at the comic book stores then.
It'll be everywhere. It'll be at Barnes and Noble. It'll be at Barnes and Noble. That was a bad pun. Okay. I don't like the.
Will it be available on Comixology?
Yes.
Yes.
I will double check and make sure that it'll be release day and date. December 14th on Comixology, but we are big fans of the future, and we are big fans of iPads. So
yes,
it will be digital. Yes.
Yeah, I'm into Comixology for the past few months. Yeah, so I big fan, and I'm always reading yours and Robert Kirkman's work. So anyway, so right now. Okay, so in MTV, we were reading about it earlier. How do you feel about being named number 4 comic of 2011?
That was, I still don't believe it. Actually.
You still don't believe it?
Well, I mean...
It's in print, and it's on the internet. It's got to be for real.
Yes, that's right.
But it's, it's MTV, and it just doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel real, and people are congratulating me, and I'm like, what? Some blog said I was good, but it just doesn't match up. It doesn't add up, and all I should just do is shut my mouth and say thank you, because I don't know. It's just surreal. That's the long and the short of it. I don't believe it, and it should be exciting, but I'm just I'm not buying it. I think it's a lie.
It's a
maybe when you walk across that stage at the MTV Music Awards next year and get your popcorn, your little astronaut.
Yeah.
I hope I drop it the way Kristen Stewart did when she accepted it. I hope I'm just as clumsy as she is.
Oh.
So that's it's before she got turned, so she couldn't handle the big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So how's the writer Steven taken all this?
I think he's in the same level of I don't believe it, but he's also giddy, and he doesn't believe it in the sense that a lot of the Little Depressed Boy is personal to him and happened to him. That jazz girl who kind of plays with a Little Depressed Boy's heart is a real girl, who played with his heart. So to find people coming up to him and telling him they relate and that they're the better for reading that book, and that he's helped them, it's really, that is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also it's also mixed with giddy, because a girl came and made him a stuffed little depressed boy doll by hand. And when someone hands you that, that's just like the coolest thing in the world. So he's happy, but he also is like, oh, the pressure's on. Gotta keep making, a book that people like. And but yeah, he's super happy and also doesn't believe it.
Yeah, has Hasbro bought the merchandising rights yet?
Not quite.
Hasbro? Really? Hasbro?
Hasbro.
Okay.
Hasbro's a little. They're all plastic, right? They don't do stuffed animals, but I mean stuffed dolls. Look, not quite. People want an animated series, but it's
Fisher
not.
Price. Fisher Price.
Yeah. Fisher Price has been banging on our door. They want to make a stuffed little depressed boy with a little stuffed vinyl record.
Yeah, this is Barbie Little Depressed Boy, and this is Ken Little Depressed Boy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Man, Ray, you have been the king of ideas this phone call. Like,
oh, there you go.
I got a million of them, man. I got a million of them. They like that. They like that. So, well,
you are the creative director now.
Yeah. How do you feel about being compared to some of the other artists and writers that are on that list? Because it's a pretty decent and pretty impressive list.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's what I mean by I don't believe it. It's some of my favorite books are on that list. Like Lock and Key and Invincible, and it's like what again, it's unbelievable. It's really weird, and it almost feels fraudulent, but it's very cool, and it also makes me feel a little more comfortable telling people when you're at like a party and they ask what you do and say I work in comics. I'm kind of like yeah, I work in comics, and I make a decent comic at that. But
it's an honor.
No, it's really, this is the craziest thing to me. Kind of on the whole, like, how do you feel being next to these artists? Is someone showed me that this girl on Tumblr was like tracing my drawings in her high school notebooks, and
oh really?
And that's the thing that all people do. That they look at comic books they like and they try to be like, oh, I want to draw that face. And I thought that was like the biggest moment of my life to see someone think of me that way. Which, again, is fraudulent. It feels so wrong. Like I feel like I've cheated her somehow. But
well, I gotta own it. Really gotta own it.
So I gotta own it. I gotta sell out.
Yeah.
when you're in art school and you're thinking about doing comics, is there a class in how to draw big bosomed women for comic books? And unique men.
You know what?
Unique men.
I took life drawing, and they offered quote unquote like all body types. So that class helped me with big bosoms.
How about big guys? Ever no?
Yeah, no, it was funny. They had this really weird, old-looking guy, and he was amazing to draw because he just had the weirdest features. They never picked anyone you could be remotely sexually attracted to because they were all cartoon characters. Unless you're attracted to comically weird-looking people.
I have friends who are like that, who are turned on by anime. So, for some reason.
Oh, well, then they come to Santa Monica Community College and take their life drawing class.
Yeah.